yesterday, I saw a message on my stream of someone saying, "Oh no, I'm getting paired against you, Anna, on round number 3 of Real Tenilo." And I said, I'm playing against a viewer. Well, this viewer was a 15-year-old kid from India with a FIDE rating of 1900, but with a chess.com bullet rating of 2700. I was playing as the really strong player who was 100% underrated. Now, yesterday, he beat the number 1 in the tournament, a 2177 player, and so he was already doing fantastically over here. So I knew that this guy was not a 1900. This guy was, level-wise a lot stronger than that. So this game became an insanely crazy game. I mean, probably the end of this game was one of the craziest over the board games that I've had in a very long time. You guys will see. But let's just get right into the recap of round 3 of Real Tenilo. So I played d4, he went knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, we have a King's Indian over here, and now I played h3, and this is my favorite line. Now, the reason why I like this line so much is because I'm basically blocking this bishop from ever getting to g4, so I'm basically playing against this bishop over here. And here he castled, and I knew that he was a viewer, so I knew that I couldn't play the stuff that I always play on stream. So instead of playing bishop g5 or knight f3, which are my most common moves here, I played bishop e3. It was the first time that I ever played this, I think. So bishop e3, and here he went e5, I went d5, I want to block the center, and now he went a5. The idea of this is that he's basically saying, hey, I'm going to be going knight a6, knight c5, and I want to stop you from going b4 and attacking my knight over here. This is a very common idea in the King's Indian, to go a5, to place the knight over there. So I went g4, and I love these sort of setups, that's why I also love h3. The idea of g4 is 1, I'm kind of stopping black from going f5, but 2, I'm also opening up for this knight to come up to g3, and I'm basically just getting a lot of space on the king side. I will probably try to attack his king, so it makes sense to start pushing my pawns. I want to castle queen side. So here he went knight a6, and I went knight e2, and now, this was still preparation, he played h5. Now this move I wasn't expecting. I mean, it was part of my prep, but I really did not think he was going to go h5 because I just thought it looked crazy to move one of your kingside pawns. But now that I looked at it a little bit more, it makes a lot of sense. The idea is that at some point after I go knight g3, he wants to go h4. So it makes sense that he is sort of blocking here. Now also, he wants me to go g5 because he wants to block the king side, as then I would not be able to put any attack on his king and he could start attacking mine. So here, I thought for a little bit, but I ended up going f3, which is a good move, simply defending this pawn. Now here he went knight h7, and the idea of this is that he is opening up for his queen to come up over here to h4, but he's also maybe going to go knight g5 and put a little bit of pressure on my pawns. In this position, I thought about going bishop g2, and this is probably the move that I should have done. Simply a move developing where I'm also defending my pawns. I just really wanted to have my bishop on e2 instead because I just felt like it made more sense to have it here, and here I felt like it was going to be blocked, but it would have been a better choice for me to go bishop g2. Instead, in this position, I ended up capturing on h5, and this is not a terrible move, but this is going to lead to a very forced line. So, captures on h5, he doesn't want to capture back immediately because then I'm going to go, if he goes here, I'm going to go h4. And now I'm just going to be a lot better because I'm going to be bringing my knight up to g3, and then this pawn is going to be falling. So, you can see how with this move, I'm stopping the queen from entering, I'm also stopping the knight from coming up. So, he has to go queen h4 check. Now in this position, I went bishop f2, and then he captured with the queen, which is what he wants to do. Here I went knight g3 to protect my rook and threaten the queen, and after queen h6, I went h4, which is good, stopping the knight from coming up to g5. And here, he went knight f6, which I actually was pretty surprised during the game that he went for this move because I just thought, what happens if I go h5, which is a move that I did. I went h5. And I was actually pretty surprised about this because I just thought that I was better here. So the idea of h5 is that I'm opening up the rook, which, you want to have your rooks in open files. And I'm also basically saying, what are you going to capture with? If you don't capture with anything, I will capture on g6. So he pretty much has to capture or go knight takes h5. So in this position, if he would have captured with the pawn, this would have been terrible due to bishop h3. This is actually losing for black because he has to exchange then the light squared bishop, and I'm going to get a knight up to f5, which is going to be absolutely amazing. Like, this is going to be the greatest knight ever. This is actually right now +4 for white. It's completely winning. So he can't do this. So after h5, he pretty much has to capture with the knight, which I don't know why Chess.com is saying is, a question mark, because they're saying in the analysis that it's the best move. So I don't really know. I think he has to capture that pawn on h5. But let me know in the comments if you have a better suggestion. But knight takes h5, and then here I made a blunder. I should, in this position, just go queen e2, bishop e3, and castle. Just develop. You know what they always say. You know what I tell you guys. Develop, 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 castle. What did I do? I did the opposite of that. I did a move that I thought was really cool, but it just wasn't as cool as it looked like. I had played f4 here. This is a blunder. The idea of f4 is that knight takes is not possible because the queen is hanging. Queen takes is not possible because knight takes, queen takes. It's going to be a checkmate pretty much. So he has to go pawn takes if he's going to capture here. Now, when he goes pawn takes, I've opened up for this queen, so I'll be able to capture, and then go rook takes. And that was my plan. I thought that this would be good for me. So in this position, I was actually a little bit scared of him playing f5 as well and opening up because of my king still being in the center. But here he captured, and then I went knight takes, and after pawn takes, here I should probably have gone bishop e2 with the idea of maybe capturing with the bishop instead of the rook, but I captured with the rook. And this was probably a little bit a loss of a tempo. I should have gone bishop e2. Now, after rook takes, his only good move is to go queen g6 to try to bring this bishop up. Now, I need to do anything to get my king castled. In this position, I will be doing completely fine if I'm castled, but I just need to get my king in safety. And in this position, he's actually threatening several things. One, he's threatening to capture here, and then maybe go queen takes e4. But more importantly, he's threatening to go bishop g4 and fork my queen and my rook. And that would be terrible. So I played bishop e2, which I think is fine, to stop this from happening, to stop bishop g4 from happening. Now after bishop e2, he played rook e8, and in this position, the best move is to go king d2, which I think is crazy. I mean, no, it makes sense. Like, you're bringing the king up to, bring the queen to the other side of the board. So it makes sense to go king d2. Because, like I said, I really need to get my pieces connected. But it just looks so crazy to, like, bring your king up, I don't know. It just goes against, like, so many chess principles, I feel like. But it makes sense. I try to go queen d2 to castle queenside and bring my rooks here. But the issue is that he has time for this move, bishop g4. This is only, like, really good move. And bishop g4, I had calculated it, but yeah, I mean, I had a few different options here. He's threatening my rook. I could either go rook h4, and this is actually really pretty. I didn't do this because I was scared of f3, but here I can actually go long castles, and maybe this would have practically been my the best way for me to continue in this position. The idea is that by sacking the bishop, I have rook g1, and I'll be winning this. But this is going to be very, very, very crazy. I mean, this is going to become absolutely insane. There's going to be a queen going on over here, but I actually calculated this briefly, but I actually thought that I had found a really cool line. Here I spent quite some time thinking, and I thought that I had found a fantastic line. And I started calculating it over here. Spoiler, the line includes sacrificing a rook. Yes. When I said in the beginning that the game was going to go crazy, I wasn't lying. I wasn't just saying it. It was crazy. I sacked a rook in just a few moves. And I started calculation right here. So bishop g4, I took, and I saw, well, my rook is hanging. Rook h4 is the only good move, and now he can only go to one square for it to be good. If he goes queen g6 or anything, I'm going to castle, and I'm going to be the happiest girl in the world. He has to go queen f3 to stop me from castling. He really needs to stop me from castling. And here, this move is also really good because rook takes f4 is not possible because there's queen h1 check, and I lose this rook. So in this position, actually, I went for, like I said, a really crazy line. And I went for queen takes f4. Now, I completely miscalculated this. The way that I'm sacking a rook is, well, I mean, if takes and takes, I'm just going to be happy. I'll castle, I'll bring my rooks in, I'll have a good position. So bishop takes c3 is the critical move, which I played. And he spent quite a lot of time playing this. And then after I took, he actually spent quite a lot of time thinking here too. But he can just take here. So after queen takes c3, I'm giving up this rook. And this is a crazy position. I mean, my only move is to go king e2. And now let's take a moment to just look at this. Okay, my rook is hanging. But this king is looking pretty unsafe. Yeah, I have a rook, a queen, and a bishop that can all attack this king. And the king has to go to dark squares. I have a dark squared bishop. Okay, maybe some magic can happen over here. But this is a really crazy position. So after king e2, to win, he has to capture on a1. And let's just go through what I would have played. He did not capture on a1. But let's just go through what I would have played. My plan of going queen takes a1, and keep in mind that I calculated this several moves before, the moment that I told you that this is when I started calculating it. I had already calculated this. So I was calculating many moves in advance, which is typically a cool thing to do, because you can see moves in advance and everyone thinks that, oh, that's so great. But typically a bad thing to do, because let's be honest, I am not a GM and I miss stuff. I miss stuff when I've calculated 7 moves in advance. I miss intermediate moves. And that is what happened here. So after queen takes a1, my plan was to go rook g4 check. And after the king, well, the king has to go to f8. If king over here, there is a checkmate. And if queen g7, I'll take it. So he has to go king f8. My plan here was actually to go bishop h4, stopping him from getting the king out. Threatening now queen h6 checkmate. The only way of stopping the checkmate is to go queen h8, stopping this. And then I thought that after bishop f6, and I had calculated this many moves before, I thought that this would be a lot of compensation for me. I thought that, you know, because if queen h7, I thought rook h4, and it's going to be a draw. He has to take here, and okay, he's going to have to exchange, he's going to have to give up a rook, because otherwise there's a checkmate on h8. But actually I had missed that in this line, after bishop f6 threatening the queen, there's rook takes e4. And yeah, I'm just, he's giving up the rook, but he'll take my bishop, and then the rook is coming. My king is super unsafe. I have no more checks. I have no more attack, and this is just completely lost. And I had missed this. So he missed it too, though. He didn't go queen takes a1. But yeah, this is many moves that I've... many moves in advance that I had to calculate. It was a really hard position. So I shouldn't have gone into the whole sacrificing a rook thing. But after king e2, he did not take on a1. He actually captured on c4. And this is a blunder. Here, I actually have a draw. How do I have a draw? Well, I can go king d2, and then the best thing he has is to simply keep on checking me, because otherwise I'm going to be checkmating him. Queen g5 check, king f8, rook h8 are my threats right now. But for some reason, I had like 6 minutes left here. I thought that I was winning. I thought I was winning here, which is actually really crazy for me to think about now when I'm looking at the position. But in the game, I thought that I was winning. So I went king f3, and this is fine. And after queen c3 check, I went bishop e3, and now he captured the rook. Now this position, the engine is still saying that it's equal, not because there's some repetition draw, but because we can actually get an equal position. Well, it will eventually lead to a repetition draw, but in this position, I thought for like 4 minutes, because I thought until I had like 1 minute left. And this was the critical moment in the game. And capturing now the rook on a1 is very different from before, because my king is on f3 and it's now protecting this g4 square, and you will see why it's important. So in this position, everyone was, like, please, Anna, make this move. Please, Anna, make this move. Like, everyone was going, crazy. And I didn't. And I'm so sorry to everyone that watched it live. The move that I had to make was queen h6. Now, the idea of queen h6 is that I'm taking away all the squares for the king to escape. And the only move to stop the checkmate, which is rook g4, is pretty much to go queen g7. And after queen g7, there's rook g4, and he pretty much has to take here, and then king f5. And then, I'm so many pawns down that I should go for a repetition. But yeah, this is how the game could have ended if queen h6. So, and if it goes king f1, then I can just go king g3 actually. So I can just go back and forth. There's nothing. His pieces are too far away. His knight is too far away. There's no attack. So queen h6 would actually probably have drawn the game. But I was really focused on the checks. I was focused on rook g4 check. I was focused on this check, and on this check. Now, I was calculating all these crazy lines. I saw that if queen g5 check, then queen g7 is not possible because there's bishop d4, and if queen takes queen, there is a checkmate. And if f6, then there's queen f5, and I'm threatening to take on f6, and I'm threatening g4, rook g4. I saw all these crazy lines. I saw that if queen g5, it's the opposite. Then queen g7, then king f8 doesn't work because it's a draw. Because bishop check, king here, bishop check, and if this, it's going to be a checkmate. And if king there, there's a checkmate there. So I saw that, but it was so annoying because I couldn't go queen g5 because of king f8, and I couldn't go queen there because of queen there. So I thought, okay, let's go queen g3. So the idea of queen g3 is that I'm opening up a diagonal for my bishop, and this is the move that I played. And this is a big blunder. Only move for me to save the game is queen h6. Here, queen g7 doesn't work because rook g4, so he has to go king f8, which he did, and after bishop h6, king e7, bishop g5. For some reason, I was so mixed up, and I think I was pretty tired at this point from calculating. I was so mixed up with all of these queen moves that I actually at one point thought that after f6, I had rook check and checkmate. And then I realized, wait a second, my queen is not on this diagonal anymore. So this has actually happened to me a few times in the past. And yeah, it's just basically like a calculating error to do that. But yeah, so that kind of sucked. But anyways, f6, and now I'm just completely lost because after rook h7, king d8, and after queen h3, there's knight c5, and there's no checkmate. And now there's just nothing I can do. This became, guys, look at this. Queen check, king here. Guys, I could literally not do anything apart from going king h1, king h2. My king was stuck. He played this very, very well. He captured every single one of my pawns. And then he found this really nice idea of check, king h2, and then rook g2 check. What a nice finish to the game. Idea is that if queen takes rook, my rook is going to be hanging. And if I go king h1, there's rook g3 check. There's a check here, and the queen is hanging. So I captured, king g1, and after king e7, bringing the rook in, I resigned. And here, guys, I lost the game, and I lost round 3. I don't know. Yeah, it was, anyways, go ahead and win the tournament. Hello, guys. Hopefully you can hear me now. I messed up. I did the most Anna Cramling thing in the whole wide world, which is that I tried to sacrifice thinking that it was winning, and it wasn't. I don't know, I think I completely just miscalculated. Like, I really thought it was winning, but I couldn't find the checkmate, and when I was calculating, like, I found a checkmate, but then it wasn't there. So I just did the most Anna Cramling thing in the whole wide world. But to be honest, he was definitely underrated. I mean, he played really well. I think he had an accuracy of around 94 out of 100, so he played really, really well. I would say his only mistake was not capturing my rook immediately, but then I blundered as well. So he just simply played better than me this game, and, it is what it is. We got to accept losses, and that's just part of chess. You win or you lose, or you draw, but, that's boring. So you win or you lose. So I lost today. I'm on 2 out of 3 points. Tomorrow I'm playing with the black pieces against an 1800, and we're just going to try to bounce back. I'll be back for round number 4 tomorrow. If you want to watch it live, you can watch it on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Anna Cramling at 3 p.m. CET. Many of you have asked me in the comments. So there we go. It's at 3 p.m. CET that I'm playing every day, Central European time. And hope to see you there or to see you on the recap of round number 4 tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the video.